And it's like, you can't love all of them equal amounts. And then I just feel guilty. If I had stuffed animals, like, to me, they were people. He has a condition, a health condition. He's got what we call saggy burmitis. So avocados are buoyant and they can swim. So especially Big, he's very good at it. He's like a kind of boat shape, and he swam on his back all the way to Africa. Then he swam back. And that's how we knew he'd really overcome his depression. Sometimes he gets in the bed again and we think, oh no, Big, are you relapsing? But you're doing pretty well, aren't you? Scandinavian countries came up. If Scandinavian countries are doing it, then it must be good. Obviously, I first dipped my toes into stuffed animals, etc., comfort blankets when I was a child, but that kind of left me for quite a long time until I worked on pediatrics. And I saw this girl, she was like 3 or something, really fucking cute, and she had this avocado teddy, and it was pretty much the same size as her when she was carrying it. And I said to Tom, I was like, oh my fucking God, I really want that. So I bought it. Well, no, wait, did I? Or he bought it for me. We bought it. Now, he actually bought me the wrong size one. We kept that one anyway. So he bought me the little one. But today I introduce you to the stuffed teddy that we colloquially, friendly call, nickname call. We call him Big, okay? Say hi to Big. If you're listening on the podcast, maybe I'll put it on the, I'll put a picture of this. There we go. A picture of Big on my Instagram, which is at DawnBarlow30, if you want to go check that out. And today I wanted to talk to you about, is having stuffed animals and like comfort blankets and like comfort items as an adult okay? Is it like an acceptable thing to do? Or, I had a little bit of, looked into some research. Is it like okay? Like even scientifically, is it okay? So today we're going to be talking about having stuffed animals as an adult. I looked a little bit into like research in children, and because there was, to be honest guys, there was a lot more research in children than there is for adults. In fact, there's almost no research for adults. So spoiler, we can't really talk about that. But in terms of research for children having stuffed animals, he's so fucking cute, isn't he? So yeah, this is Big. He's a few years old now. I feel like I didn't introduce him well enough. He has a condition, a health condition, and it's that he's got what we call saggy burmitis. So the beans in his bottom that keep him up, you can see here, have sagged, and he's now got a saggy bum. As a result, he doesn't come in the bed unless in case of emergency, okay? If I'm crying, if I'm really sad, if it's my period, if I'm hungover, like emergencies only. And he is absolutely great to cuddle, like amazing. He also has a bit of a history, okay? He has a story behind him. He has a couple of stories. One of them is real and one of them is actually fictitious, but we say this is his story, right? So so Big Avo is one of 8, basically. He's an octuplet. So what happened was, I probably shouldn't say this, but I ordered one off John Lewis. He's a Jellycat, and Jellycat, you can buy them from John Lewis, but you can buy them from like other places as well. Anyway, I bought one. They sent me 1 box. I wasn't sad. And I came back and I found out that they sent me 1 box which contained 8 of them. We've kept 2 and gave the other ones away, or did, like sold them or whatever, because I didn't think that having 8 was like a good use of space. Also, other people can enjoy the avocados. So, and look at this happy smile. So anyway, that's how he came to be. And also because I had baby Avo, we call him baby, baby Avo, who's like half the size of him. And we have loads of Avos. We have like maybe 5, I would say. They're all different in their own special way. So we have a story about Big, and Big had depression. And that's why he's coming on the podcast today, so that I can tell his story. He doesn't have a voice box, unfortunately, but we'll tell his story for him. He had depression because he stayed in bed too long. No, actually, he had depression, so he stayed in bed too long. We had this, we were saying, oh, Big's in bed again because of his depression. And then one day he overcame his depression. He's still battling. Don't get him wrong. He's still battling. But you can see the smiles come back to his face. He's having a pretty good time. He's appearing on podcasts. And then he did a really, I don't think anybody's actually done this, but basically he should hold the Guinness World Record or something. But avocados are buoyant and they can swim. So especially Big, he's very good at it. He's like a kind of boat shape, and he swam on his back all the way to Africa, and then he swam back. And that's how we knew he'd really overcome his depression, because he swam to Africa and he swam back. Sometimes he gets in the bed again and we think, oh no, Big, are you relapsing? But you're doing pretty well, aren't you? So there we go. That's Big's story. Thank you, Big. He has a brother who's called Santa. He never comes in the bed. He's pristine. He wears a Santa hat over Christmas. I mean, it's actually October and he started wearing it already. So you might call him Tesco because, like the shops do, it's October and they put all the Christmas stuff out already. So there we go. That's the story of our most infamous avocado. We have many, but I mean, the reason why I kind of mention it is because in the background of my videos, obviously I have a YouTube channel, and in the background of my videos, you can see all of these stuffed animals, and it's not an animal technically, actually, he's an avocado, he's a fruit, but you can see them all in the background, and I'm like, when does it get too many, when is it concerning? And I was like, do you know what? Why don't I just do a podcast on it? Because I bet I'm not the only one who's worried about this. I think Tom is less worried about having them than me. I am more I'm concerned for a few reasons. One of them is space. Less worried about that, to be honest. One of them is the stigma. I'm just thinking am I a child? No. So who has stuffed animals? Children. Am I a child? No. So what's happening there? I don't know. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Not many people go in my bedroom, to be fair, though. Also, because we have stories for all of them, when does it get too much, We already have probably 8 or something, maybe 9. And it's you can't love all of them equal amounts. And then I just feel guilty, which sounds so silly. I was like this as a kid, though. If I had stuffed animals, to me, they were people. They had personalities, they had stories, and they weren't just objects. So it is rather surprising that I stopped having them. But I still have my blankie, I call it. Pretty fucking original, isn't it? My blanket, which has a few holes in from where I've picked it, but I had it as a child, and that's for me, it's the only thing that's really stayed with me through, my whole life, and I will never get rid of it, because to me it just represents security. And it's not that I cuddle it or have it, it's in a box above my wardrobe, and I was going to get it out, but then I thought, nah, I haven't got time for that. I've actually got to go to the gym in a minute. So I was no, I just won't throw it away, because to me, it's it's a forever item. It's something I will never get rid of unless it burns in a fire. And then that wasn't technically me getting rid of it. That was a true disaster. So yeah, that's the only real stable thing that's been throughout my whole near 30 years of life. I did have a moose. I fucking don't know where he's gone. A moose called Moosey. Again, so original. He was a hot water bottle, though. Hot water bottle cover. Yeah, Moosey. Good times. Oh, see, I don't want to talk about him now because I miss Moosey. Moosey would come a lot of places with me, and he would just keep me warm. And warmth is comfort. and comfort is warmth. Also, Blanky had like this certain smell. So anyway, talking about children having, you know, we were going through the research, weren't we? We're like, I don't want to call it research because it's like, hello, let's go through the research. I don't want it to be like fucking boring, right? But I mean, whatever. I'm not boring, I hope. So yeah, attachment insecurity. I mean, I've literally just described it to you there. It's been my constant throughout my whole life. And I love that because when life feels rough and turbulent, getting kind of upset right now. When life feels turbulent and rocky and uncertain, who's always there for you? Blanky. Who's not going anywhere? Big. Big might go to Africa, but he's still here in spirit. And I think these kind of stuffed animals or blankets or dummies are another kind of comfort item. They kind of act as a bridge between like, you know, kids would like carry them to school and their parents would leave, and it's like, okay, you have an attachment to your parent, but your parent can't be with you all the time, but Blanky can. Blanky's got nowhere to be. Blanky doesn't have a job and needs to pay the bills. So Blanky can come to school with you and learn things. And then when you feel more settled there, Blanky can stay at home. Blanky's there when you get home to talk about your day. Blanky's there to tuck you in at night. Blanky's there when no one else is. And Blanky reduces, you know, my stress, just knowing that she's there. And anxiety. And it's like, you know, everything's going to be okay because Big is here, Blanky's here. And I think although you don't want to like rely on these items for, you know, your emotional needs, like you should be able to, you know, what's it called? Regulate your own emotions. But when you're a child, you kind of can't. So it's like, so it's like something to bridge that gap. It's also, like I was saying, it's nice to have just a constant throughout your life. You know, you're changing schools, you're growing up, you're growing boobies, you're like, oh my God, what are these? Then blood starts pouring out of you, and you're like, oh, fuck, what's going on here? But Blanky's always there. Blanky's not having a period. Blanky's not got hormones raging through her. So she's just there, doing her thing, being comforting, and having a good time. Blanky is white. Arguably cream now. I am kind of confused about how Blanky has remained like not significantly concerningly stained. I think then when you start to get older, you can kind of leave Blanky at home. You can like start weaning yourself off these things. Or some people have like really little things like that can fit in a bag, a pocket, and they just take it with them. They might call it their good luck charm. It's like a security thing. But it's just something that's there with you and something that you can like rely on to be there, you know, and you can just have it in your pocket, right? I would say in our culture, British culture, it's acceptable as a child, maybe toddler, up to the age of maybe 6. I don't know. That's a rough guess. Very rough. Don't fucking quote me on that. Up to the age of maybe 6. I think it then maybe a bit older, maybe 10. I don't know. But definitely more in like females. So females, I would say, it's more socially acceptable if you're a girl to have a comfort blanket or something like that. I think a boy would like, I know we're all about like no gender like identity nowadays, but I'm sorry, but it still exists. But I think boys would maybe like, well, when I was younger anyway, would have like a car or something like that, and that would be their kind of comfort blanket. And although it's not a comfort blanket, and although it's not a stuffed toy, it's like something that they have. And some people have like necklaces. I wouldn't really say these are like kind of adult comfort blankets, aren't they? Like I have a necklace and quite often I play with it. It's not like a nice feeling necklace. It's like quite pointy, but it's always there, you know. It's kind of like my, you know, people have those self-soothing behaviors, you know, like rubbing or like you see with body language experts, they say like, oh, that's a self-soothing, oh fuck's sake, that's a really hard word to say, self-soothing behavior. Well, I think like sometimes having like a comfort thing in your pocket, or like a necklace or something like that, would be like touching that would be like a self-soothing thing behavior. Now I looked at it a little bit because I think it's very culturally dependent, yeah. And I think, so I basically looked at like different cultures, and I was like, okay, so in the UK, maybe it's like socially acceptable to have one of these items until you're like 10. But like, what about other places? Now, it's obviously not hard set, fast rules. I think it's also familially dependent. So if you come from a family who kind of encourages having like a stuffed animal or a blanket or whatever, then you're more likely to have one, right? And especially till you're older. So just a few notes to say, but like there are, let me say one thing. I don't want to go into like, so I've got like in Japan, they have things called omamori or talismans. Anyway, fine, we could go into that. But what I want to say is Scandinavian countries came up. And it's like, if Scandinavian countries are doing it, then it must be good, right? They are the elite of humans, I'm telling you. They're so inconspicuous, if that's the right word. They're like in the background, doing their thing. You don't know they're there, but they are bossing life. They've got like the lowest teenage pregnancy rate. They've got the best, work-life balance. They've got the happiest, like, happiness rates in the UK, in the world. They've got the best healthcare. Like, honestly, they are, every aspect of life, they're smashing it. Like, I don't know. When we went to Norway, it was like the best thing in the world. But I think the Scandinavian country that's doing it the best, I think the happiest one is Finland, I want to say. Again, don't quote me on that. I want to say it's Finland. They're doing it right, okay? And if they've got stuffed animals and comfort blankets, then I ain't judging no one. Because if they're doing it, you fucking go, girl, okay? So they, again, I'm speaking for them. I don't know. Please correct me if this is wrong, Scandinavian people. They generally have them for longer in these countries. I don't know what age till. I don't know if this is like, I haven't been there and examined people walking around with comfort blankets and stuff like that. But apparently it's like seen as an aid for developing emotional security. And it's like, well, that's what we need. There are so many children, there are so many humans that I see that have no emotional security. They have no social security. As in, I think we don't put enough emphasis on that. There is so much disturbance in some people's lives that they've been neglected. I see the worst of the worst, okay? Let me tell you. Because they come to hospital. I work as a doctor. They come to hospital. They are generally people, they have personality disorders. It's not me shitting on them. I'm just telling facts, okay? And it's generally because they've had a rubbish childhood. They've had parents who haven't been as emotionally receptive as maybe they needed to be. They've had very unstable lives and, like moving schools, or they've been in care or stuff like that. And it's really sad. But, like, genuinely, they just need stability. Like, that is what a child needs. Stability. And I wish I could, like, this is like one of my biggest things is I think we're seeing a like takeoff of, there's going to be a big, in like maybe 15 years time, people that just don't have any emotional regularity because they have a personality disorder because of their upbringing. And I think it's really sad. This is like one of the big things that I wish I could fix about this like country or this world. It's like I wish people could grow up in better circumstances, and not only because I see it from the medical side, and it is like, that they often don't need medical intervention, but they're seeking it because they've been neglected. They want, I don't want to say want attention because that has a negative connotation, but they want love. That's what they want, and they haven't had it. And sometimes they seek it from medical professionals, and obviously putting yourself through a medical procedure that you don't need is not without its risks, but sadly it happens a lot. Okay, I think I've kind of discussed why it's not socially acceptable to have stuffed animals. I think for me, I was just like, especially having my bedroom or my house on YouTube, it's like, yeah, I could just not do that. But also, that's me. Like, that's what I have. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I need to go and hide that thing. Unless it's like a used tampon. Like, obviously, I'm not going to put that on YouTube. But, yeah, I think maybe people don't, I don't know if people care. Like, do people care? No one's ever mentioned it. Like, oh my God, she's got an avocado on her bed. Like, no one's ever said that's weird. So maybe I'm just reading too much into this. But also, I don't really care. But, like, I kind of want more. And I think some of it is because, like, why do people love stuffed animals, right? Cute. Fucking cute. Make a story. Not only are they cute, but they're collectible, you know? We've got every single Jellycat avocado that's not ever been made, but every single type that's ever been made. Like, collectible. People used to collect Beanie Babies. I never understood it. Now I get it. Okay? I understand. I've joined the club. So I don't think it's just stress relief and just like emotional attachment, although it definitely is. I think it's also like nostalgia, you know, they remind you of happy times. Like, oh, remember when we got that? That was so cute. Role play, imagination. Yeah, I mean, Big's gone to Africa, but he really hasn't. He's never even been in water, and he's never left this country. So it's not like I took him to Africa on a boat. No, it's imaginary. Duh. It's also just like, yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just they are decorative, they look really cute, and just like if I'm sad, Big's always here. I guess though, what are the negative effects of having stuffed animals? Like, oh yeah, obviously you might get stigmatized. Oh, cool, thanks. Nice. Don't care. But like there is the aspect of like hygiene. Like, how often is Big gonna get washed? Never. How you know, if I had like allergy problems, which I don't, thankfully, but if I had allergy problems, like would having like loads of them bother me, especially if they collected dust, nice bit of dust. I think also Big cost a lot of money. Jellycat, they cost a fucking shit ton, I'm telling you. How much was he? I want to say like 40 or 50 quid, which is a lot of money for a stuffed animal. Like, I get it costs money to make things, but also like £50, like, and then that's why I do limit getting them, because not only I don't want to have like loads, but also it costs a lot of money. Also, you just accumulate more shit over your life. You don't want to get like loads and loads and loads and have like a whole room full of them, and then, like I said, you can't give love to all of them. Environmental impact, like, they're not recyclable. Jellycat have not thought about that. They're made out of, what is he made out of? Come on, let's have a look. You have to hand wash him, just for FYI. Suitable from birth. Please do not leave in cot or crib. Never read these labels, you know. Content: polyester fibers, plastic pellets. It's not going well, is it? That's it. That's all it says. So, yeah, fake materials, not biodegradable, not recyclable, not good for the environment. But I want to say it's kind of not my fault because I didn't make it, but I did buy it. So it is kind of my fault. Like, if it's supply and demand, right? But I would prefer it if they had biodegradable materials. Just saying. And then I could be buried with them. Although I probably won't be buried because it costs a lot of money. And then also, okay, this is the biggest thing. is it okay to take them outside the house? We take them in the car if we're like going away for Christmas, like not abroad, but like to a family's house. We'll take a couple, like not all of them, not 10, but we'll take some. But like I see people take them to hospital. If you're a 3-year-old child, like this is how I met Big, right? Then fine. But some people bring them, they're like my age, and they take them to hospital. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I mean, obviously you get to the point of like, when are you like obsessed with them, that if they got lost, damaged, stolen, etc., how devastated would you be? You know, is it like, would you grieve for that? Would you grieve for Big? Like, maybe. So it's like, that is also a negative effect, is like, you don't want to be so emotionally attached to a inanimate object. I mean, yeah, to an inanimate object that if something happens, then you're not going to be able to get over that very quickly. I mean, I don't think I would like be in mourning, but I'm so sorry. I feel kind of bad saying that when he's sat here. Although I know he can't hear me, it feels like he can. So I think there are negatives to it. Let me know in the comments down below, like, what do you think about adults having stuffed animals, and especially adults taking stuffed animals outside? I don't just mean like walking around. Generally, it's like in hospital. I see it. I mean, that's it actually. But then I'm in a specifically unusual circumstance where I'd be in hospital, you know. I just realised that I got up, changed sorted the camera out, and then Big just disappeared out of the frame, so that would have looked really weird. So yeah, let me know what you think. And if you're just listening on the podcast, then I don't really know how you're gonna let me know that, but I'll get like, I don't know, send me some kind of smoke signal or telepathic thought, or send one of those planes over my house where, you know, it's got like the writing behind it, and just let me know via that method. If you just fly it over Bristol, like probably like 10 times, I'll look out for it, and I'll like report back on if somebody actually does that, I will go fucking crazy. Like, that would be so insane. I don't think anyone will, because unless you have a plane. But okay, let me tell you, I think a good time to do that, by the way, would be like 3 p.m. on a weekday. So, you know, if you do want to do it, that's when I'm about. Or a hot air balloon. Oh my god, Bristol's really famous for hot air balloons, so like, keen. Have it as like an avocado, like a big avocado, and I'll be even more up for that. Do you know what? If somebody does that, I will actually die. Like, I think I will die of happiness. That would be the best day ever. So anyway, do you have any stuffed animals? Let me know. I am kind of keen. Like, is it just me, or am I just worrying about it unnecessarily? Probably. So yeah, if you liked it, give it a like. Give it a like for Big. Big obviously has been struggling with depression, so he would really like it if you left some kind of good feedback, if, you know, just for coming out today. And he would love it if you left a 5-star review on wherever you listen to podcasts. He would love it if you gave it a like on YouTube or subscribed for more Big appearances. Left a comment and just said, wow, well done for getting over your depression, Big. You're so brave. Thanks. Anyway, yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, watching on YouTube, then you can go and listen to anywhere you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, although I think they're changing it to some kind of iTunes or something. You can, go listen to just the audio if you're on the go, in a car, whatever. If you listen on the podcast and you want to go check out my video, I mean, it's literally just me just sitting with Big with a beautiful rainbow behind me. So if you do, it's at Dawn Barlow. Just type in Backseat Positivity on YouTube and you will find it. Won't be that hard. Okay, I love you and goodbye. If you made it to the end, well fucking done. Time to go to the gym.